Dillon Brooks is somebody that I think will trigger more players now as a member of the Houston Rockets after triggering so many over the course of the last calendar year in the NBA. Starts off with him breaking the arm of Tim Hardaway Jr. with a clear cheap shot in a game between the Warriors and Grizzlies. It finishes with all the dumb...
Gary Payton II.
My bad, sorry. I don't know why I confused my random 1990s point guard.
The sons of NBA
they did,
guards.
I mean, yeah. So anyway, thank you. It's Gary Payton Jr. He gets wrecked from behind by Dillon Brooks. It's a cheap shot. I think he broke a bone. And then it all wraps up last year where Dillon Brooks is talking out of his ass about LeBron James, won't face the music after LeBron James and the Lakers cook him multiple times, blames the media for painting him to be a villain. But right now, he's in the honeymoon phase with Houston Rockets media, and he was asked about his decision to join the Houston Rockets, and he made an interesting comparison to these very same second worst team, tied for second worst team in the NBA, Houston Rockets, and his last stop.
I feel like it's like almost the exact same team from 3-4 years ago. Kind of have the same type of players. Jalen Green, like John Morant, Jabari's like Jaren, these young guys that can expand their games and be one of the best or the best in the league. So I feel like around those two guys, it's like almost the same type of deal.
Gotta love basketball interviews. They always take place with a bleep ton of dribbling in the background. But you heard Dillon Brooks there. Dillon Brooks said that Jalen Green is like Ja Morant. Dillon Brooks said that Jabari Smith Jr. is like Jaren Jackson. What was the next comparison going to be? Is Alperen Şengün the same as... Who was that guy that the Grizzlies gave $200 million a couple of weeks ago?
Desmond Bane.
Alperen Şengün. Same guy. Like, just go all in with it. He's, of course, going to say nice things here, but this is the kind of stuff that you see from some of the people who are supposedly objective Rockets journalists online. It's just constant bloviating for a team that was one of the worst in basketball last year and has arguably been the worst over the last couple of seasons. Brooks did not come here because he feels that Jalen Green is Ja Morant, because no one should be making that comparison. You knew pretty quickly with Ja Morant that Ja Morant was going to be Ja Morant. You didn't know that Ja Morant was going to be Ja Wick off the court with all his blickies, but you knew pretty quickly that Ja Morant was going to have superstar potential. That's not going to happen with Jalen Green, in my honest estimation. The reason Dillon Brooks came to Houston has nothing to do with what he sees in these young players. It's 4 years and $80 million. And look, he's not going to say that publicly, but this is clearly the one team that was willing to offer him a contract like that. I imagine there was some interest from other teams, but they were looking at him probably like, oh, we might be able to sign him for a very team-friendly deal. And then the Rockets gave him 4 years and $80 million. Is that because Ime Udoka wanted him? Is that because Rafael Stone wanted him? Is that a demand that Dillon Brooks made? But Brooks would not have needed 4 years and $80 million if he felt that the Houston Rockets have a nucleus that's like Jalen Green, that's like Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. He wouldn't have needed $80 million for that. Like that's if you want to continue to play with the winner, you sign for the minimum. This is a guy who I think wants to make money. No disrespect to him on that front, and also wants to have a bigger role because he felt like as a 3-and-D player, he did not have a big enough one in Memphis. And Memphis was like, "Yo, we're not signing you under any circumstances whatsoever." And I think it had to do with the fact that he wants to shoot more, and he's not a good shooter, despite shooting like 6 threes a game. I think he shot 32% on the season. Not good enough. Waka Flocka Bucks, twitch.tv/ESPN975 says, Ja and Jalen are very similar. Ja has trigger fingers. Jalen paints his. That's nice. I like that. That's a good dad joke. But again, This is what you're going to get. I'm very curious as to when Dillon Brooks starts to rub people here in Houston the wrong way. And I would specifically point to the people that cover this team on a daily basis. It's 4 years and $80 million. You don't think that's going to get old pretty quick? That's a lot of money to give. And even if the Rockets had to spend a minimum amount to meet the salary cap floor, which is, I think, like 90% of the salary cap or something like that, even if they did have to meet this minimum, like, this is a contract we're all going to be looking at this year, next year, and the year afterwards, and we're going to be saying, what? But hey, it's because Dillon Brooks sees Jalen Green as Ja Morant and Jabari Smith Jr. as Jaren Jackson, and because he sees Desmond Bane as Alperen Şengün, and because he sees Deshaun Nix as Tony Allen. It's the same thing. Maybe he sees Deshaun Nix as Mike Conley. Did he ever play with Mike Conley? When was Mike Conley with the Memphis Grizzlies? It was a hot minute ago, right? Like
he played with Mike Conley.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
How was the next comparison?
Dillon Brooks, like first couple years in the league.
Yeah. Zach Randolph.
He did not play with Zach Randolph.
He did not play with Zach Randolph. Okay. I was trying to think of another like random Rockets big man who's not actually good, so that we can just continue to make Dillon Brooks
Marc Gasol.
comparisons. Well, Marc Gasol was pretty good though back in the day. So who would be Marc Gasol equivalent on the Rockets roster?
Jock Landale.
Thank you. Marc Gasol, Jock Landale. Boom.
Because you had to compare him to a white guy. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I don't see color, so you can take care of that.
Yeah, I'll take care of all the race stuff.
Paul Galaccio, ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.